What does college wrestling have to do to get to the next level to take it even higher than it is right now?
Well, you do that with changes, right? I mean, we got changes around us all the time, you know, and the one thing, over a 29-year career or how many years I've coached, there's been a lot of changes, and when I say by changes, NCAA rules, things that have been forced on you, that you wasn't ready for, but you recognize you don't fight it, you got to make the change. The things that you can fight, the things that you think that's not really good for college wrestling, you need to fight that. You need to voice your opinion no matter who you are or what you're doing, whether your program's good or bad. If you have a love for the sport of wrestling, we need to hear your voice. That's how you move wrestling forward, is making sure that the things that you feel that aren't really healthy for what we do, this is the most healthiest, scenario, that we have is college wrestling. I mean, we need to protect it. We need to grow it. I think that there's no question. I think that it's hard to get great followings with 6 or 7 dual meets at home. I think we need to be able to extend our season out to where we can have at least, 9 or 10 dual meets at home, maybe 9 or 10 dual meets on the road. For some reason, we've been held at that number, and they've given us some relief with allowing us to count 2-day events as one. They've given us some release to allow us to pick up a couple extra dual meets, which has been really good, But is it enough? How do you grow when wrestling's growing and it looks like that maybe we're at a really good time in wrestling? Do we sit there and be satisfied with that, or do we move forward? You and I both know, and I think both agree on, the strength of wrestling in building new fans is going to be done at dual meets. It's going to be done with dual meets. So it kind of bothers me a little bit, maybe, that when you look to go to a few high school events or high school matches, and you're not seeing the emphasis on the dual meet. It's not healthy. That's not where you build wrestling. You build wrestling, I think, for me to continue to build additional new fans at Oklahoma State, we're going to do that with dual meets at home.
Yeah, just thoughts on RTCs, the value, and what you think needs to be done with that situation.
Well, first off, I'm a head coach at Oklahoma State. I get paid by Oklahoma State University, and I have a responsibility as a coach that to move our student athletes forward academically, work them all towards getting a college education, some of them getting a master's degree and moving forward. That is, of my 36 on my roster, that's likely probably 33 of them, 32 of them. There's 3 or 4 of them that have an opportunity to move forward from there, and like I did, had that opportunity. I chose Oklahoma State because of that opportunity to maybe be an Olympic champion one day. I just think that you start intermixing things that with your universities and our responsibilities of what we're actually supposed to be doing, it gets a little bit dangerous, and I hear the Olympic movement, right? I mean, my whole life I've heard the Olympic movement, and it is a fabulous thing. It's the reason why I had an opportunity to do the things I did. But I'm also real careful in thinking, that what happened from 1972 to 2008, 2009, what happened with college wrestling during that time? Wasn't good, We wasn't taking care of our programs, I don't want to blame it on anything. I just say we lost a lot of programs during that time, and the Olympic movement was still going on, right? So for us to ever think, that this is something that is more important than what we're actually doing as head coaches at our universities, and we're controlling, anywhere from 25 student athletes to 40 plus student athletes, that's wrong. You better really focus on developing your team, both academically, athletically, developing All-Americans, because it's a big movement for a lot of schools that have All-Americans or NCAA champions. So it just seems to be a conflict. Hey, not everybody agrees with my opinion, but I think everybody knows my opinion, and that's what I said before was, you need to have a voice in what you believe and what you think, and don't think that you can't talk. We need, people need to know how we can grow our wrestling, and we've talked about wrestling being in a good place, maybe in my career, maybe the best it's been. And when I say that, I say NCAA wrestling. I'm thinking of NCAA wrestling because of my years of coaching and what I've seen. So RTCs, I don't know. I just think there's a little bit of a conflict of interest when we're being forced to do some things that may not really fit the model of developing your program.
What's the solution?
I don't know if there is a solution, I have some ideas that, I'm probably not going to voice now, but we just got to keep in mind and keep in perspective that, that we also need high school coaches, right? We need guys that graduate from our institutions that go back to their hometowns or wherever they end up working a job and being little league coaches. We need a lot of things to make sure that wrestling continues to grow, and I think we're seeing some good things. But and we need Olympians, right? We need to have Olympic champions. There's no question, But I just think it's real important that you make sure that you're also spending time on the growth of the sport, and the growth of the sport is when it's healthy, is some of our college athletes that are stepping out or staying involved in wrestling.